It's a very beautiful Hasidic story, but it goes very far. As Shmuley said, our tradition is so special for two reasons. From Shmuley you heard the answers. From me you can hear the questions. I believe in questions more than in answers. When I was a child, and I would come home from Cheder, my mother never asked me, did you have a good answer today in school? She would ask, did you have a good question to ask today? And since then, as a teacher, I teach my students the art of questioning. I love also questions for a different reason. It has the word quest. And I believe humanity is defined by its quest. A society is defined by its quest for justice, for compassion, a quest for truth, a quest for meaning. It is the quest. I cannot imagine a human being. I cannot imagine the existence of any human being without a quest. And so I believe in our tradition, what we try to show is the quest. And it is this quest which becomes a common endeavor. I, the Jew, the Muslim as a Muslim, the Christian who believes in the New Testament, what we must have in common is a mutual trust in quest. A middle-aged philosopher said, always seek truth, but beware of the one who found it. Why? Because it leads to fanaticism. You, Professor, are teaching about bioterrorism. I have been obsessed for years with the danger of suicide terrorism, which is the ultimate aspect of terrorism. The terrorist has no quest. He already found the object of the quest. It is he and it is death. The suicide terrorist believes in the count of death. Death being the answer to everything. We believe death to be the question of everything. Why did God create us so that we could die? It would be a tragedy and a farce. Why have children? To see them die? You as a doctor faced it with terminal cancer patients who wondered, what am I doing here? Why was I brought into this world? To die? Of course, the real answer is no. If you're born to live, even though at the end we die. And we are supposed, therefore, to do something with our lives. I remember in my town, I always go back to my childhood. Moriarty, the great writer, said, literature is a bridge between childhood and death. All the rest, futile. But these are sources of inspiration. And I remember the funeral in my town, we didn't have cars, The body was carried on the shoulders of friends from the shul, from the synagogue, or from home to the cemetery. In front, there was a bill with a black pushket, a black charity box, saying, Tzedakah tatzil mimovis, meaning death saves you from, charity saves from death. And I remember a rabbi saying once, wait a second, if that were true, then some people wouldn't die. You would live eternally. If charity saves from death, go on, do charity, you will never die. But what does it mean? And the answer is very beautiful. Charity saves you from dying while you are alive. Because what really is charity? It's compassion for those who need you, either because they have no food, or because they have no home, or no hope. And whatever you do, in any way, you can help that person. And if you don't, something is wrong with us. And then we need forgiveness. And here comes the Jewish aspect of forgiveness, which is marvelous. Because forgiveness can be examined from the moral viewpoint. It can be examined from the psychological viewpoint. And surely it can be examined from the theological viewpoint. Now, what is forgiveness? It implies three protagonists. The person who insults or offends, the person who is insulted or offended, and the spectator who happens to be there. And if there is no spectator, then God is a spectator. And then we have the law. On Yom Kippur, next Wednesday, if I did something to you, I must come to you personally and ask for forgiveness. God cannot do it. God himself, the creator of the universe, the judge of all judges, the King of kings, cannot forgive my sin. I alone must ask you, and you must forgive if I come 3 times. But I must come 3 times. On the 3rd time, it's your obligation. Because I have done whatever I could. But what? Is there any forgiveness? Is there a time limit? Is there a statute of limitations? Where does it begin? Where does it lead? How long does it take? Should we Jews have to forgive the Egyptians for the pyramids that we built? Should we forgive for the Babylonians that destroyed the first temple and the Romans the second temple? And the Crusades and the Inquisition? We never thought about it. Because we believe only those who did personally to me that I involve. But I cannot speak about collective guilt. I cannot speak about collective innocence. Only the guilty are guilty. I went once to Germany to tell them, I have students there, you know, children of assassins are not assassins but children. And some of them, when they come to my classes, they are enveloped by my other students with such warmth, such tenderness, that I am so proud of my students for feeling the need to do that. Naturally, you can ask yourself, is there a situation in which you must go beyond yourself? Often I've been asked, do you forgive the Germans for it? And there again I answer, I don't believe in collective guilt. If somebody were to stop me in the street and say, Professor Wiesel, you know, remember nearby, and we were beaten up that day, I did it. Forgive me. I would have a choice to say yes or no. I probably would say, of course, yes. But if he says, forgive my people for doing that, who am I to? Who authorized me to speak on behalf of the people? 6 million Jews. Only the dead have that right, and they cannot. Does it mean, therefore, that we should accuse the entire collectivity? It's not so simple. Because then I would say, what about the Hungarians? In my town, Romania became Hungary. The ghetto was, we saw only 2 German officers in my town that supervised the entire deportation.